Hey everybody, this is Jeff the Zymologist. So I've gotten a lot of emails, questions here lately, talking to people just out in the open. People have been asking me what I think about three Floyds, because I alluded to a particular set of feelings I have for them back around Christmas whenever I was doing a lot of three Floyds reviews. And Dark Lord Day is coming up soon, so I just thought, I'll just make a quick video to tell you guys what my angle on three Floyds is. So I will start by saying that I think that they make some of the best beer in the world, or best beers, I should specify, best beers in the world. I was a huge fan of three Floyds for years. I think in 2007, when I was in college, I could walk into just about any liquor store in my small town of Terre Haute, Indiana, where I went to school, and I could buy a 6-pack of Alpha King or a 6-pack of Gumball Head for between $6.99 and $8.99 if it was on sale or not. So to put that in perspective, $6.99, $8.99 for a 6-pack. Whenever I moved to Northwest Indiana in the fall of 2009 for grad school, the prices were about the same, $6.99 to $8.99. That next April 2010, I went to Dark Lord Day. And at that point, they had, ticket sales. They would go really quick, but they had the Dark Lord Day website. They would let you know ahead of time when tickets were going to go on sale. And I want to say that tickets for that Dark Lord Day ran, you could buy 2 per person, 4 per household max. I think they were $10 a piece, but maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe they were like $20 a piece. So I went. Of course, you're supposed to stand in line all day and get up there, and you could buy 4 bottles per ticket. So I took 2, so I bought 8 bottles. And I think the bottles were, like 15 or $20 a pop. The next year, in spring of 2011, they never really updated the website, and just one day all of a sudden just activated on Twitter and said, hey, Dark Lord's Day ticket sales are going on right now. So I missed out. But at that time I was living in Indianapolis, so I wasn't going to go probably back up to Dark Lord Day anyway, because it's the last weekend in April. In law school, you're in finals mode that time, and then I had the Kentucky Derby coming up that next weekend. So, where do we stand now with three Floyds? Well, you can't find Gumball Head anywhere. Occasionally you can. And I found a 6-pack here not too long ago, and I want to say they were asking $18.99 for a 6-pack here in Indianapolis. So, whenever I was in law school in 2009, 2010, living in Northwest Indiana, I could find it for $6.99 or $7.99 in any grocery store, in any liquor store, all day, every day. So that's 6 years ago. $6.99, now $18.99. Whenever I took a tour of the brewery back in 2010, this was right before Dark Lord Day, a couple months, the guy that was showing us around the brewery, he was apparently the front of the house manager for the brew pub. Total arrogant prick. Absolutely. Just completely one of the most arrogant people I've ever met in my life. Which is weird, because he's not the one actually brewing the beer. He just basically bosses around a bunch of waiters. But he did say, though, that they never, ever, 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 ever will ever brew more than 10,000 barrels a year, because they want to stay small. So now in 2016, I think the last figures I saw was that they were breaching 50,000 barrels. Three Floyds, $18.99 for a 6-pack of Gumball Head. Zombie Dust wasn't around 2009, 2010 era. It came out a year or two later. And, it was just kind of never easy to find, really. But yeah, if you can find it, it's about $20 for a 6-pack of, their Gumball Head. Dark Lord Day sales are now $200 per ticket. You get 1 per person, 3 bottles of Dark Lord max per ticket. So back in my day, 10 or $20 a ticket, you could buy 4 per household, 2 per person, and 4 bottles per ticket. And now they're running in phases. They've got like several different groups that go. And so it's not just an all-day line. That's kind of nice that they do phase groups for the all-day event. I will say that this $200 price ticket includes like a grab bag, like if you go to the grocery store and you have one of those recyclable bags, one of those, and it has a bunch of food vouchers for the food vendors that are at Dark Lord Day. And I really like that from the perspective of, I have a feeling that they were probably calling in, bringing in food trucks for years, and those food truck guys, Layla, stop. My dog's going nuts. Those food truck guys probably never saw a lot of money because people were spending it all on beer. And so this really makes people, built in the cost, they have $40 or something like that to spend on food trucks. I think that's excellent. Now, going back to the point I started this is, yes, I think that they make probably the best beers in the world. It's very hopped up, very complex. And I still grab some of their beers every once in a while and get a hankering for something like that. The pricing's become absurd to me. Now, I'm a capitalist at heart, so hey, if people are willing to pay it, go for it. It's just, I'm not going to pay for it. And I'm going to do it pretty rarely. I used to drink nothing but Three Floyds. Like, I drank Three Floyds all the time. Whenever I was in law school, I'd always have at least, 2 6-packs of Three Floyds around at any given moment. Now, I might buy 1 6-pack a year or a couple bombers here and there. Yeah, they're arrogant. That's part of, they brew the best beer in the world and they know it. I see the owner, doing interviews online, and that, hey, he's the owner. He's built this empire. He and the other two Floyds from scratch and have really built an empire, and it's amazing. However, front of the house guy that's just managing the brew pub, give me a friggin' break. Don't. You have nothing to be proud about. Yeah, you're associated with the company, but you're not the one back there brewing. So, ultimately, it's, I live my life pretty much by the motto of hate the game, not the player. I can't hate them for jacking up their prices and, expanding, because that's what every small business owner wants, is to expand from that 10,000 barrels to the 50,000. But don't make a huge point of saying we're going to stay so small we're never going to get past 10,000 barrels, and then jack it up to 50 a few years later. And yeah, maybe demand is high, and that's great for you guys. I'm really proud of you. I'm not paying that. So if you guys out there want to pay that kind of money for a 6-pack, hey, more power to you. I've been there. I've paid ridiculous money for whiskeys. And now I've bitched about it. But I've gotten good deals on whiskeys that, were expensive. And so these Dark Lord Day tickets to me are just ridiculous. They're really hyped up. And like I said, it is an experience going there all day, hanging out with other people, trading beers. And it goes to a good cause. It goes, I think, to one of the local humane societies or animal shelters. I can't knock them for that. They make phenomenal beer. Undoubtedly. Just undeniably, they make, if not the best beers in the world, some of the best beers. I think that, frankly, they've gotten a little too big for their britches and have jacked up prices, which has helped other companies grow, like Sun King here in Indiana. They, their prices have gone up, and they're producing not as much as Three Floyds. They're on high demand, but say if Three Floyds was still $8.99 a 6-pack, Sun King might not exist. Sun King wouldn't be as profitable. They would have to probably sell their 6-packs at $6.99 or $5.99, so they're not going to be in high demand, and so they don't have that big of a gap, that big of a profit margin. So they've done a lot for Indiana brewers, Three Floyds, not only from setting the bar higher and making better beer, but from the perspective of creating this emphatic market for people to really grasp on to other beers that are alternatives that are less expensive. So that being said, I'll always have a special, place in my heart reserved for Three Floyds beers. I love their Dark Lord, and Gumball Head, Zombie Dust is phenomenal. Alpha King, very tasty. All that being said, though, you know, it's just my thoughts that it's too expensive. I'm not buying into it. I think that they're, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe their vision changed in a few short years, but their vision was sort of, you know, false when it was presented to me earlier on. So who knows? Ultimately, you guys should not take this as any sort of advice from me on what you should or should not spend your money on. I think that you should spend your money on whatever you want and drink whatever you'd like. I will always make recommendations on things that I think are good, and I think that these beers are amazing. In my own opinion, for my own comfort level, I'm just not comfortable spending that kind of money on beer. There, you have it. So, anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Comments, you know, kind of comment below. Tweet at the Zymologist. You know, and if Three Floyds picks this up, I'm sure they'll have some words to say about it. But, you know, I will say that, hey, you guys do make amazing beers. You know, maybe your vision isn't as clear and changed from being very small and offering beer at a competitive price to now blowing it out. But I think that that's a consequence of the market. People are willing to pay that much money for it. And so, hey, if you guys can reap the profits and the rewards for now, go for it. Maybe someday that'll change, or maybe not. But, you know, I've loved your beer for a long time. I'm proud to say that I was one of the early birds. I got to enjoy those $6.99 six-packs, so while the rest of you are paying $18.99 for a six-pack of Gumball Head, you can be envious of me for enjoying $6.99 six-packs for years. So that's about all I have to say about that. If you have any questions or concerns or comments, you know how to get a hold of me at the Zymologist on Twitter, and you can comment in the comment section below. So, again, have a good one, and you'll be hearing from me again soon.